Hello my friend, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time seeing this beautiful face, please do not make it your last by clicking that subscribe button. On this channel, I help you in your journey of intentionally becoming her. So if this is something that you would like, stay tuned. In this video, I am going to be unpacking how you can become completely unrecognizable in just 12 weeks. You might be wondering, why 12 weeks? Well, that's because the thinking behind this is if you work with a 12-month year, you have this perceived abundance of time. And when you do this, you stretch out goals that you really could achieve in less time for the full year. And by the end of the year, you notice that you'd have wasted so much time focusing on just that many goals, or probably you didn't even achieve those goals in the first place. The 12-week year approach is one that was pioneered by two authors, Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington, in their book, The 12-Week Year, where they base their thinking on the fact that if you view your year as 12 weeks long instead of 12 months long, you get more things done because your mind will be focused on the fact that you have such a limited amount of time. You don't have this perceived abundance of time. Because the thing is, when you've got this perceived abundance of time, you think that, oh, I've got enough time to do this. And you actually won't end up getting those things done. Why? For example, if you've got, let's say, 3 goals that you've set out for yourself for the whole year, 12 months worth of a year, you'll think that, okay, I've got 12 months to achieve these things, these three things. Whereas probably these 3 things could have been done in the first quarter if you had actually perceived that you have less time to do these things. But because you perceive that you've got so much time, you might actually stretch out a goal that really has no point being stretched out for that long. And sometimes, because you've got this perceived abundance of time as well, you might actually find yourself only getting to do the work by the third quarter or the fourth quarter. You might wake up and it's November and you've got absolutely nothing achieved, and you start running around trying to see, what can I touch, what can I do to make sure that I at least tick off one box on my list. This 12-week year mindset helps you to completely stay focused because you've got it in your mind that your time is limited. The other advantage of using the 12-week year is that the time that you take to reflect comes a lot earlier. So with a 12-month year, you'll find that reflection usually happens in the fourth quarter. And that's too late to get a lot of things done. That's too late to make a lot of changes. That means the time that you have to reflect comes a lot sooner. Because if you master the 12-week year mindset, you'll be mastering a week. You notice that weekly you will have to reflect on whether or not you achieved your goal. The authors actually say for you to get good results on your 12-week year, for you to excel in your 12-week year, you need to have achieved at least 80% overall for all the other weeks. So what that means is every week you're asking yourself, in terms of the things that I have to achieve this week, did I at least get 80% of those things done? So that also means you'll be prioritizing each day as it comes, because you know that I only have 7 days to achieve these things that I have to achieve for this week. Otherwise, I've already dropped the ball. Success loves speed. And when you plan for 12 weeks, you notice that you're a lot more urgent as opposed to 12 months. Because when you've got 12 months in your mind, you lack a sense of urgency. Probably you've got a goal that you set for March, right? And then March comes around and ends without you having done that, or without you having achieved it. You're like, okay, I can actually push this a bit further to July. July comes, same thing happens. Next thing you know, you're in November and nothing has been done. Now, when you're using the 12-week method, you'll find that the sooner the deadline is, the earlier that you get to check your progress and reflect on whether or not you're actually on the right track to achieving your goals. And at the same time, this means the sooner or quicker you get to identify any gaps in your system, any new habits that you need to take on for you to achieve what you want to achieve, any strategy you need to change. Probably the goal remains the same. I mentioned this in the previous video. In my previous video, I'll link it somewhere down below and on the screen. But you definitely need to watch that. So the goal always remains the same. But what you can change is the strategy. And when you focus on the 12-week year, you'll find that if a strategy that you're working on isn't working, you quickly identify this and you pivot. So let's just get into it. Number 1, write down what you should have achieved by the end of the year. I was very particular in choosing my words. I didn't say write down who you should have been by the end of the year, who you should be by the end of the year. Because who you want to be by the end of the year is a result of what you should have achieved. So what is that achievement that you want to see by the end of the year? Think of it as you telling someone at the end of the year that, oh, I've achieved this and this and this and this, right? You're telling your supervisor, oh, this is what I've done. You're telling someone, you're applying for a job. You're telling someone, anyone, that this is what I've achieved. What is that thing? Write it down. Be as clear as possible. It doesn't have to be one thing. Write as many things down that you want to have achieved by the end of the year. Write it in this way. I should have ... by the end of December, your goals 2025. Number 2, categorize your goals into high, medium, and low priority. So you have to categorize them based on how important it is and how much of a priority it is to you, right? So hence, high, medium, and low priority. And further than that, you have to then classify whether or not that goal is a continuous goal or a one-time achievement. So a continuous goal looks more like this. This is something that you need to split across throughout the whole year, throughout 4 different cycles of the 12-week year, or maybe 2 different cycles of the 12-week year, depending on what the goal is. It's not something that you can simply achieve, basically, it's not something that you can simply achieve in one 12-week cycle. And now a one-time achievement is something that you only get done once and that is it. You've already achieved it. For example, maybe one of your goals is you want to enroll into medical school this year, right? You only enroll once, so that's a one-time achievement. But probably your other goal is you want to save at least 5,000 by the end of the year, right? And maybe you're not able to save 5,000 in just one 12-week cycle. So what you can do is you can then split your 5,000 into 4 12-week cycles, depending on how quickly you want to have saved this money by the end of the year. So probably you can say in the first 12 weeks, as I'm just starting out, I'm only going to save at least 1,000. In the second 12 weeks, I'm going to save 2,000. Probably for you, that's where you know that I've got a lot of things that will be happening in the second 12 weeks. So I've got more opportunities to make money. So I'm definitely going to be able to save at least 2,000. Then in the third 12-week cycle, I'm going to save at least 1,000. And then the remaining 1,000 in the fourth 12-week cycle, right? So that's a continuous goal. An example that's closer to home, which is my personal example, is I need to actually lose 10 kgs, but I can't lose 10 kgs in just one 12-week year. So I need to actually spread that out and determine how much work am I going to be able to do to lose how many kgs in one 12-week year, and then spread that out throughout the year. Number 3, assign your goals. So remember, you classified your goals, you categorized your goals into high, medium, and low priority. So make sure that you put the high priority things into the first and the second quarter. Imagine by the second quarter, you've at least achieved 3 high priority goals on your checklist. That means by the end of the year, you'd have gotten so many things done. Because right now you're so pumped up, right? You're in the mood of winning your year, of conquering your year. So when you tackle the things that are hardest, the things that are of higher priority, that means by the end of the year, you've got a lot of achievements that you'd have under your belt. After assigning your goals into the different 12-week years based on their level of priority, now what you need to do is to focus on one 12-week cycle at a period, right? So you don't plan the 4 12-week cycles in one sitting. Right now, whenever you're watching this video, this is the beginning of your first 12-week year. Start now. What are you going to achieve? What do you want to achieve? Get that done. And then after completing that, that's when you can start thinking about the second 12-week year and so forth. But of course, after assigning, you still have that picture of by the second 12-week year, I should be doing this. But in terms of the nitty-gritties, we're only focusing on one 12-week year at a time. Number 4, strategize for each goal. Write your strategies in this way. If I action every frequency, result will happen. So for example, if I run 5 kilometers every single day, I will lose 3 kgs. So that's an example of a strategy that you're writing down. Remember, like I mentioned in the previous video, you never change the goal. You can be flexible with the strategy, but never with the goal. So sometimes you may actually see that, okay, in terms of the goal that I set out, this isn't working. Don't be glued onto that strategy. Feel free to change your strategy and alter it. And remember, that's also the benefit of the 12-week year. You will notice sooner that your strategy isn't working, and you're able to pivot a lot sooner to make sure that you still get yourself on track and achieve your goals. If one strategy isn't working, change it. Add tasks to each strategy. Add actions to each strategy. Remember, actions are what bring the strategy to life. Without the actions, the strategy is dead, literally. Number 5, choose your era. What season are you in? What type of year is 2025 for you? How do you want to describe 2025? How do you want to describe the first 12-week year that you're in? How do you want to describe the second 12-week year that you're in? What word do you want to attach to it as a connotation? Determine the era that you're in this year 2025, and also determine the era that you're in the first 12-week years. Be as clear as possible on that and walk in the reality of it. Number 6, focus on yourself. It goes without saying that for you to become unrecognizable, you really need to focus on yourself. You need to prioritize yourself. You need to be intentional about what you put your effort into. You can't afford to spread yourself too thin. You've got a lot of things to do, and you've got very little time to get it done. So what that means is you can't always be available. Every time there's something going on, every time someone needs you, you're there. No, in these 12 weeks, you don't have time to be doing every single thing. You don't have time to be everywhere, every time. Anytime someone calls you, you're there. No, focus on you. Focus on your goals. Very little time requires a lot of attention. Focus on what you want, how you're going to get there, and what it takes to get there. And put your all into it. On this note, there's something that I think is very important. It's important for you to grow in silence. Don't go around telling people that, oh, in this 12 weeks, I'm going to be doing this. In this my first 12-week year, I'm going to be achieving this. No, zip it. Grow in silence. Sometimes you tell people that are going to discourage you. Imagine right now, I'm sitting on 246 subscribers, right? Imagine right now, I tell people that, oh, by the end of this 12 weeks, I'm going to be sitting on 5,000. People will laugh at me. So don't go around telling people what you want to be achieving, right, by the end of the first 12 weeks, because you'll find that people have got different mindsets. People have got different viewpoints in terms of your capacity, even in terms of what can be done. Grow in silence. And also, for you to grow in that silence, you need to be very intentional about showing up for you. The same way that you want other people to show up for you and to walk the talk in terms of what they said they're going to do for you, you need to be able to do that for yourself. Walk the talk in terms of what you said you're going to do for yourself. Number 7, get rid of limiting beliefs. Sometimes you can have limiting beliefs in terms of what can be achieved, what can't be achieved, simply because of the environment that we grow up in, right? That we grew up in. Maybe your background is a perpetuant of limiting beliefs on its own. Probably even the people around you, right? The way that they think, the way that they speak is so limiting. It restricts your mind's ability to think beyond what is surrounding you. So what you can actually do is, in such a case where you've got nothing around you that motivates you, look for an online mentor. This doesn't have to be someone that you talk to or know personally, but this can be simply someone who is living the life that you want to live. You're not doing this so that you can then start copying them and start living their life. No, but rather this is so that you can focus on them and be so aware of the fact that the life that you actually want to live is possible. It can happen for you. If it happened for them, then definitely it can happen for you. Yes, of course, we may be privileged differently, but once you see that it's possible, you start then putting in the work saying, okay, yes, this person had so many privileges, but I don't have all those privileges. So what am I going to do for me to make sure that I cover up that gap, that those privileges that I have, that she had, that I don't have, got her to this place for me to actually get to that place. Expose your mind to better so that it can actually comprehend that you're capable of getting better. Fill yourself with scriptures that remind you of your capacity. Fill yourself with the word that tells you who you are, your worth, your ability, and whose ability you do certain things by, right? And this will help you to completely get rid of limiting beliefs. Number 8, practice speaking right. There's a lot of power in the tongue. I cannot emphasize this enough. There's a lot of power in the tongue. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. The word of God tells us that before us he has placed death and life. but he says choose life. And how do you choose life? By speaking the right things. You speak life into your own life. That's your job. It's no one else's job to do that for you. It's not your parents' job. It's not your pastor's job to speak life into you. That's your job. You are the person who has authority, the final authority on your life. Speak the right things. Speak the things that you want to see into your life. Chart your course with your life, with your words. If you don't want to see something in your life, say it. I don't want to see this anymore in my life, and I'm putting a stop to it. If you want to see something continue in life, say it. I want this thing to continue happening. Maybe opportunities are suddenly coming your way. Say it. Opportunities continue coming my way. I attract opportunities. Say exactly what you want to see. Be specific. Speak the right thing. Talk the right thing. Practice talking sessions. I mentioned this in my last video. Again, I will ask you to go and watch that video. I'm getting too pumped up. I'm getting too pumped up. But yeah, practice speaking right. Number 9, develop the habit of learning and unlearning. It goes without saying that for you to become unrecognizable, you need to develop the capacity and ability to learn new things. But at the same time, you also need to develop the ability to unlearn. Unlearn all the things that don't serve you anymore. Unlearn all the things and habits that aren't helping you to get better, that aren't helping you to get a step closer to your destiny, that aren't helping you to achieve any of your goals. Unlearn all the habits that held you back. Unlearn all the speech patterns that negatively affect your life. Lastly, aim to be 1% better each day. Don't push yourself too hard. Yes, you've got 12 weeks, but life isn't just going to change overnight. You're not going to achieve everything that you want to achieve overnight. It takes time and effort. However, even if it takes time and effort, don't underestimate the power that lies in making tiny changes each day. Again, I will sound like a broken record at this point, but I talk more about this particular concept and other related concepts that are really important on your journey to becoming unrecognizable in this video linked down below. Remember what we said, mastering the 12-week year requires you to master the week, and mastering the week requires you to master the day. So focus on winning the days. That's it for today, ladies. I really hope that you enjoyed the video and you wrote some things down that you're going to implement in this year so that you can become unrecognizable. If you did, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and comment down below, guys, and share this video with someone else who may really benefit from this. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Bye.